is the, I guess, arrival or undertaking or process or whatever of seeking truth or being present in truth necessarily a lonely one?
Well, there's no rules, but it always is.
Is there a question that you really want to answer right now? Like,
No.
Thank you, Doctor. Sorry for the background noise. I find this stance of nothing works as kind of liberating from the
Well,
ego.
it isn't, but it isn't a stance. Like it isn't some flag that I'm waving.
Okay, but I kind of find it liberating from the ego traps of me as a doer. And as I was listening to you and to the questions that were posed to you, and I find a connection or a kind of a relevance of your talk in, I'm sorry, in context of Gita Updesh by Lord Krishna to Arjun, wherein he's kind of telling Arjun to do your karma and forgo the thought of consequences. So as I
But
was
that's a prescription.
right, yes. So as I was turning this theme of nothing works, I realized that the
And even
moment
that wouldn't work. Even that won't work. What he told him to do, that's not going to work.
Right. So, as I further analyzed this, I came to realization that moment I start thinking of nothing works, and I realize suddenly everything works. Would that be a right interpretation?
Well, you're sort of becoming abstract. What do you mean by everything works? If you've been looking for peace and you have found that nothing works, so then by recognizing that nothing has worked, all of a sudden you'll find peace?
As I said, I was finding it kind of, liberating for me from the sense of that I am the doer. That the
Yeah,
things.
I don't think that you're ready for that. That's more Gita stuff, and it doesn't mean that it's incorrect. But as I have said before, the things such as the Gita really can only be understood by one who is already enlightened. Because even if you look at what you just said, there was no reason to tell Arjun that he should. What was it that you said? Abandon. What did you say that Arjun was told to do?
That you kind of carry on with your karma, do the action,
Okay.
and forego the thought of consequences.
Sure. And so if he does that, it won't get him anywhere. Now, the only saving grace in that particular circumstance is that he is hearing the words directly from God, whereas no one else hears them directly from God. But even having said that, if you listen to what happens next, every prescription that Arjun is given, he responds with more questions. He responds with, well, how do I do that? And how do I do that? And then he gives him another how. And then he responds, well, how do I do that how? It's all very plain to see.
Thank you for the opportunity, Siddha. My question might sound a little absurd, but the prescriptions and the self-help books, whichever people are using to come to get peace or achieve something, does they propagate toxic positivity?
Well, that's just a kind of term. What do you don't bring terms, toxic, positive. It's like these intellectual terms that you pluck from the tree of society and you bring that little cherry into here. Don't use terms. Don't use intellectual terms. Talk English. Don't talk like a science professor. Toxic positivity that really marks you as an intellectual, that you have read books and you have brought these terms. Speak like a human being, not like a professor, not like a an intellectual. Speak in English.
I'm sorry, sir, to use that word, but does that make us ourselves get confused in doing or achieving what we want to do?
I don't understand the question.
The prescriptions, the self-help books, does they really help or confuse us more? This is my question.
Well, there's no reason for me to answer that question because it won't do any good for you. I have spoken endlessly about prescriptions. I have written endlessly about prescriptions. There's many podcasts out there in which I've discussed prescriptions. If after all of that you have to come to me and ask me, will prescriptions help or hurt? It has no meaning. And not that you have to listen to any of those things, and not that you have to believe any of those things. But if you haven't examined it for yourself, it doesn't matter what I say. Therefore, I could say whatever I want. It has no experiential meaning for you.